All right, tonight's shave has this wonderful handle by That Darn Rob. Very comfortable, it's large, it fits my hands really well. The Fanchurian, I believe, is what he calls this knot. I'm hoping I can soften up the tips with use, and we'll see how this guy keeps going. So I'm gonna soak him in some water. My preferred way to get the brush wet before the shave. The blade we're going to use today is one I've used about 11 times. This particular Gillette Silver Blue. We're going to stick him in a razor I have on loan. It's been wonderful trying this guy out. There was a certain point where the really heavy, most aggressive plate that came with this Aluminum ATT razor above the tie, and that heavy head, the heavy base plate, was aggressive, and it fit my really old Nasset blade that I was marathoning. It fitted really well. Well, after I passed 100 with the Nasset, I'm playing around with other razors. I've switched back to the mild plate. And so this is aluminum. It's a nice kind of like almost brushed aluminum. And so it's got these micro ridges, and so it's very easy to keep hold of as you're shaving, even if your handle gets wet and soapy. And the anodized aluminum here, you can see there, it's got AL and then M for mild aluminum. So this thing is just super light. Occasionally, with a lather that's not all that creamy, you might get some drag. I experienced some drag with this one. Let me go ahead and throw the blade in. All right, that's done. And Secret Santa gift exchange this year. I ended up with a soap I've been wanting for a while. A Formula T is their tallow soap from WSP. And this is Old Kentucky. It's kind of got a bourbon scent, maybe a little bit of amber, and this one also has shea butter, as you can see. And I've gotten some really good shaves with some WSP soaps in the past. It's a compact little sucker. He's got 4.7 ounces, almost 5 ounces, and he's kind of a smaller tin. So my guess is won't need to use as much product with this one. This is the way he looks. Kind of a beige mottled color, and I believe we're ready to go. I'm going to splash my face with water and take my brush. I like to sling most of the water out of it. It's often my starting pattern. We'll be doing a bowl lather as usual. This will be messy because it's a small puck. And let's just try 30 seconds since I'm new at this brand. So I just tilt it over to the side, and that way the water and mess just kind of goes off to one edge of it. So that's 15 seconds. This has got some backbone, but it does tend to splay okay. So I'd say medium backbone. 4 more seconds. And there we go. It seems like it loaded up pretty well. I got a hold of a sample of the WSP Citrus Blast, I believe it was called. That was a great orange scent. If you just want kind of a straight orange, it doesn't have a lot of crazy interest to it, but very fresh smelling and a great performance with the lather, then I'd recommend that one. All right, so that's what it looks like after a 30-second load and a dry shaving bowl. This handle is so nice that even if I don't like this brush knot that is in it, I will be glad to pass that on to somebody else and put another knot in there. I'm interested in trying out maybe an ace shaving knot. Oh, now see, we've got a lot of kind of dryness popping up right here. That's a good sign. I'm going to get my dropper so I can add water easily. And that's a teaspoon. It's looking good. Half teaspoon now. They have a scent called Gaelic Tweed. Imagine that's their kind of green Irish tweed clone. I think another one called Mahogany, was it? I think I really enjoyed that one. Gaelic Tweed was a good scent profile, but unfortunately the strength, I only tried it once though, the strength was just way too low. Now judging, this is a very mild soap as well. This may be my only version of their soap base that I have that is in the tallow. And some of the other tallow items they had just were kind of something I had in my collection already. You know, probably some kind of fresh, you know, maybe like a, I don't know, some typical stuff. And so this one had some interest for me. Kind of a bourbon family type scent. Now we've got, take a look at that. I'm gonna mix it, get a good consistent mixture, and we'll test it with my fingers because we have added 2.5 teaspoons of water to this lather. 30-second load. This brush has a reasonable amount of backbone, just kind of medium, and that does affect how much soap it picks up. If you've got a really low backbone brush, you may need to stir more than the example I may show on a video. I do have my share of floppy badgers and I really enjoy them. Alright, let us, oh, I can tell right now that feels good. Good cushion. I can just feel the ridges in my fingerprints. I like it, so let us use it. Alright, splash water on my face one more time. We have still got snow in our yard, and it is very big. Here in North Carolina, we do not get a lot of snow. Usually. And I think we got 5 or 6 inches, which is something maybe we get maybe every 6 or 8 years, so it's very rare. Usually once a year we'll get a little bit of snow, but it'll be gone by lunchtime, you know. That's pretty regular. So at least we get to, you know, the kids get to see it, feel it, and all that kind of stuff. And so yeah, this is a, I'm glad I have a mild razor because the tips on this brush are just a little bit on the scrubby side, and they can stir up a little bit of brush burn if I have a razor that kind of making my skin a little tender with its aggression. I'm getting a little bit of clumping in my neck here. Instead of just simple furrows going down, that's usually a sign that I need to add some water to my lather. So let's go ahead and do that. Soften it up a little bit. Holy cow. Well, sure looks like 30 seconds is plenty of time for loading. So reduce that to 20 or 15, it looks like. Now that's, look at that. It's a good looking bit of lather right there. Very nice. All right, let's go with this. Scent strength, just standing here, pretty low, like a 1 or a 2. I've tried the feather. I think I've tried a pole silver in this razor. I've tried a what else was really, oh, my Nacet, of course. Pretty good glide right here. Feel like I'm getting good protection. This mild head is just super friendly. This is not rinsing off my razor as easily, so yeah, I think I was right to add some more water to it. A little on the, needs to be a little bit more hydrated. A little on the relatively dry side. All right, let's rinse. A nice creamy feel to the lather as I rinsed it away. You know, people are all talking about the new bases. I'm going to add a little bit more water to my bowl because I had to add more to my brush. And the new bases are terrific. Let's keep going, trying to get excellent soap, but also don't forget those that we're leaving behind that have just been great bases for a nice long time. WSP seems to be one of those, because whatever I sampled a while back that made me want to go online and pick out a scent from WSP, because I had it may have been that Citrus Blast, but I had this great sample that just felt so good. It was slick, creamy. I said I need to get online and find a scent with that soap that I like. Look at all this lather that's getting generated. Very nice. Second pass, cross grain, This blade feels really good in this razor. I'm not really feeling, I'm feeling the hairs being cut, but not really feeling the edge of the razor. And one nice thing about light razors is that it's easy to maintain a light touch. With the heavier ones, you have to, sure, you get to let the head of the razor do some work as when you're on your cheeks, but that's not true when you're in your neck, because you've got to hold it against gravity to keep it on your neck. And so that is, if it's a heavier razor, you do have to kind of work at it and then balance the finesse with the strength of manipulating a heavy object. Whereas with a light razor like this, the strength is you can feel just the finesse that's going on in your skin. It's a light touch in your muscles here, translates very naturally into a light movement across your face and a light pressure on your skin. Excellent. And sure, it's not a championship lather, but very good. I'm going to rinse my face. So that's 2 passes. Let's get the soap for the 3rd. Really good shave result yesterday. I don't go against the grain because it just gives me too much irritation. And so I think sometimes that just makes me kind of have different shaves than some people. So I find a lot of times a razor that has options for mild or aggressive heads or settings, I'll get the same result shave with a mild setting or head, and but it's just more comfortable. Sometimes there's a chance that I'll have some of the work that is not necessary if it's an aggressive one, because maybe I won't have to do an extra pass or something like that, but that's rare. Most of the time, same number of passes, and I just get a better, more comfortable result from the milder settings. So that's why I'm not surprised that this razor has been giving me really good results. And now that we're into the 12th use or so, this is a razor that a blade that most people would have thrown away by now, but it's performing really well. So why throw it away? This soap is giving me good glide, so I would definitely recommend WSP. Now I can't remember what their price point is. You know, so if they cost the same as, like, you know, Barrister and Mann or something like that, which I don't think they do, then obviously you'd probably go toward Barrister and Mann, unless these guys, WSP, has a certain scent that you like. Very nice. Not really smelling it too much. It's kind of a sweet scent, and so sometimes those don't jump out at you quite as much, but it's slightly present during the shave. So while shaving, it's kind of minimal in general with the scent strength. Maybe staying around a 1 or a 2. Every once in a while, though, when you're doing something special and maybe a little breeze wafts your way. Just now, when I was kind of toweling off my skin, I got a good little kind of bourbon amber-like breeze of the scent, and it'll pump up to about a 3 or so, and that's enjoyable. So I like the scent a lot. Love the performance, very good, and I think a little goes a long way with this one. So I've got, after 3 passes, I've got this much lather. Plenty for 2 more passes if I wanted to do that. Let's take a look at the results here to see if I even want to do that. I have a little nick right here that I opened up yesterday. It looks to be some kind of zit or something, and so I'm not going to do another pass just to maybe help that to start to heal. But I got a very good cut. Face feels really nice. So this did well. The feather was really good yesterday, and this is, you know, not as good as the feather, but still very acceptable, very good for my skin and the standards that I have. There's some hairs there that need a little bit more cutting. I can see some length on some tips, but that's really not too bad. And if I wanted to do an extra pass, I could probably knock down a few more of those. So for me, when I can't go against the grain, that's really pretty good. Just a nice lather there. So definitely don't be afraid. This is their tallow and shea butter formula. Don't be afraid to check out this particular soap. It's one of their scents. You know, it looks like it might appeal to you. And this one's a little on the weak side, but nice performance. I'm glad to have them in my library. I ended up using 3 3/4 teaspoons with a lightly wet brush to make this lather, and it's a good lather. So I could reduce the loading time probably to 15 or 20 seconds for sure. I ended up with a good bit left over. I'd probably start it with 20, reduce it to 20 and see what happened. So very good. Face feels, with that shea butter in there, you're probably going to expect to have some pretty good face feel afterwards. And I'm not feeling anything adverse at all. Well, what are we going to use for aftershave after a kind of a bourbon and that base soap? Well, Whiskey Woods from Clubman. This is a little bit more pungent than the WSP soap. And this is alcohol based, so it's going to let me know if there are any problems. But once the initial alcohol burn is very nice, I think just this little spot down here was all that stung, so good technique. And once the alcohol burn kind of goes away, which for me is fairly quickly, it's just a pretty easy going aftershave. It's not too obnoxious. It's not going to get in your way as you're moving around your day if you just kind of don't want to smell like something over the top. So I like it. There are some scents that are meant to freshen you up, jolt you with their pungency, pep you up, like the aquatics, zesty aquatics and things like that. Cedar has a certain high nature to it sometimes. That's a little on the pungent side, but this is on the opposite end of the spectrum. This soap is what you want to turn to when it's just a easygoing day and you don't want a scent that's all up in your face. Just something kind of sweet, kind of bourbony, a little bit of amber. Seems like it's in there, but that just may be the nature of the bourbon scent. And then this guy might be the one for you. Good performance. It's dense. It's 4.7 ounces, but the size, it just makes you think it's less. But then when you pick it up, you feel the weight of it, so you know it's going to last a while. And it didn't even look like I really kind of put a dent in it very much with my 30-second load. So I'm going to guess this will last a little while. So excellent performance. I really enjoyed it. So thumbs up from me. Sure, I do like the scent. I'd enjoy it if they were maybe to make it a little stronger, but you know, that's the way it is, right? All right, face feels great, just fine. And so the aftershave is working all right. The razor keeps knocking it out of the park, doing a good job. It's neat to have a light razor like that in your arsenal, because to just feel your technique and the nimbleness of it is very interesting, especially if you have several of the big heavy razors that so many people think they need. So this one gets my vote. Be careful about tightening it. Since it's aluminum, you need to be careful not to over tighten the handle into the head. So excellent, very good shave tonight, and hope there was something here for you. I think WSP is a good brand. They've got some good soaps out there. Very nice base with good slickness. You can make it dense if you want to, or you can thin it out, however you want to do it. It looks like. So I'm happy with them. So this is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Take care and good night.